All right, so PSA's long-awaited Krinkov is now already in the wild. I wanted to do a video on this a couple weeks back, but I really just wanted to see what all the reviews were going to be on this particular firearm. The reason why is because I really wanted to see if this was going to be a good offering from PSA, and this was something that I'm really have been very passionate about for a very long time. So what are the reviews right now? The reviews seem to be a little bit more mixed. I think maybe because of what the PSA is chambered in for their first initial release, and that is 5.56 223. And I do believe that there's 300 blackout and 5.45 that is on the way. But I can understand the frenzy and everybody wanting to get their hands on a Krink, considering the fact that Krinkov is something that is very hard to find. Before, the only ways to get your hands on a 5.45 Krinkov was if you were to order a Bulgarian Krinkov kit. And these things are not only hard to come by, but they're very expensive. And these kits, if you've ever seen them before, they're really chopped down. They're really not a complete build, of course, because they're imported and USA has to apply by imported laws. Once you get your hands on a Krink, from there, you would have to pay another, let's say about at least $3,000 to find a class or someone that can build it out for you. And then on top of that, you'd have to put an optic or whatever accessories on this thing that you wanted to put on it. And then next thing you know, you spend almost about close to $10,000. Hence the reason why PSA's release was so awaited. And even for myself, I have always wanted a Krink. I've always wanted an AK of that popularity that I could get my hands on. But considering the reviews, I have now decided to not buy the PSA Krinkov, even their future 300 blackout and 5.45 releases that are said to be on the way for the remainder of the year. The reason why is because I am a firm believer in what I would consider the perfect Krink. And if we go back a couple years ago when Jim Fuller is a guy who we call the AK God of America, was working at Rifle Dynamics. Before he left, he developed what he calls his AKS-M85 URD.
What's Mixed Flip holding on to here, Jim, real quick?
This is his personal AK, by the way.
That's my 74 URD.
The best AK ever built right here.
In my opinion, it is my favorite gun that we have built. We haven't built a whole lot of them because they're pretty expensive to do.
Flip doesn't want to let go of that.
I know, I've been holding on to this thing forever.
But it's quite it's pretty much a do-all gun for what you would want an AK to do.
What I understand, there were only 10 that was made. I'm actually friends with someone on social media who actually got the 10th one. So for what I understand, this is supposed to be the perfect Krinkov. It is an 11-inch barrel. It was developed by Jim Fuller himself, who puts a lot of time and a lot of effort into the quality of his works on all AKs that he makes. Outfitted with a couple of other accessories like an Ultimac and a couple other things that sort of makes that particular weapon or that particular line sort of proprietary to just him. Really made it a very cool firearm. And I would go so far to say that this is probably a do-it-all type of Krinkov. So what does that bring me to today? Today, I actually wanted to give my viewers, the people subscribe to my channel, and others who are watching this video, an opportunity to know that there are other alternatives, at least one other alternative that I don't know if a lot of people have thought about. The firearm that I'm about to present to you is one that's been around for a very long time, but it's really not talked about as much, maybe because of the company that manufactures it. Not saying that this company is a bad manufacturer. They're certainly not. They're one of the best AK manufacturers that are out there now. But for some reason, it just has not been catching and getting a lot of popularity. So I present to you what I consider the perfect Krink. This is my AKS. Now, I'm not going to call it a 74U simply because this is not a cut down version of a 74. This was actually built out by a company called Zastava. And this is their M85. So I guess you could almost call it an AKS-M85. This is chambered in 5.56. And this does not suffer from the drawbacks that your traditional Krinkov, which is an 8-inch barrel, suffers from. So this is a 10-inch barrel. And like I said, this is chambered in 5.56. I think that this, just by that spec alone, is the perfect crank, simply because it was really meant to shoot 5.56. The traditional 8-inch Krinkov was not really designed for long distance shooting with a 22 caliber projectile. And when I mean 22 caliber projectile, everyone knows who have shot or knows anything about the NATO 5.56 by 45 millimeter or the 223, and also the Russians' version of our NATO ammo, which is the 5.45 by 39. That these two bullets are actually 22 caliber. Now, what the United States has done to make that really more ballistically effective downrange is that we're firing a 22 caliber projectile at pretty much close to 3,000 feet per second, and that is very effective. Now, the Russians have their 74, which is a longer barrel, from what I understand, and they're also shooting a 22 caliber projectile. But like I said, it's a longer barrel. They're getting better ballistics downrange. So kind of really dawned on me, like, why was the 8-inch Krinkov created in the first place if it's already ineffective? So the reason why I think this is more effective is because, like our Daniel Defense Mark 18 spec, which is a 10.5-inch or 10.3-inch barrel, the military or NATO has basically said that that is the shortest that we can effectively shoot a 5.56 projectile and be sort of pretty much accurate at a greater distance, somewhere around 300, 400 yards. So from the reviews that I've been seeing on PSA's Krinkov, they are so mixed to the point to where I won't even bother with the PSA Krinkov. Why? Because out past 200 yards, it seems to be a little bit unpredictable. So for that, I just think that there should be other alternatives out there. And if you don't know, this is the reason why I wanted to make this video. So let me just start from actually from the back to the front, sort of go against Grand Thumb. But anyway, so this is a complete build from Zastava themselves. You have all the forging, the hammer forged front and rear trunnion. For here, that is different from the Bulgarian is that it does not have the trunnion milled out that has the Bulgarian adapter for the traditional Bulgarian triangle stock. But that's fine with me because Zastava gives you this offering with a Picatinny rail adapter on the end so that you can mount whatever you want on the back, even if it's a SB Tactical pistol brace. Now, I'm not running the brace on this one. This is SBR. This is JMac Customs Triangle Picatinny stock. So this is an actual stock. This is not a brace. Has a rubber pad on the back. And this does fold pretty much like the Bulgarian style triangle stock. I have a Rifle Dynamics pouch on here that's got some administrative stuff in here, some Allen wrenches, some tape, stuff like that. I've got a Blue Force Gear sling attached to this with the JMac Customs triangle stock coming ready with these QD points here. You've got, so moving forward, I've actually upgraded the grip. I don't remember what the grip name is, but I'll put that up on the screen. All the internals of this is traditional for a Krink. You've got somewhat of a stainless steel bolt here that a little bit more slicker than the standard Krinkov's bolt. It allows you to run this a little bit more drier, a little bit more dirtier. It's got a installed AOG trigger in this. I actually put that one in here. It did not come standard with that, but I think Zastava offers that if you want to grab one directly from them and you don't want to install it. This is just a traditional hinge dust cover. So, but this is not spring loaded, so it won't go up and stay up. So it's got the traditional Krinkov rear sights integrated with the dust cover, which I really do like. Now, what's different with this Krink and sort of the Yugos, and let me sort of back up for a second. So the Zastava arms, all of their firearms are imported from Serbia. PSA all of their Krinkovs will be made within the USA. I don't believe that they are importing any one of those. But so therefore, just by that, it's not really so much of a traditional or real Krink. I really consider it sort of like a range toy. It's not really going to give you any of the historical, doesn't really have the historical history behind it. But you have one, if you're going to get one that's imported, then I kind of feel like this has somewhat of a historical significance than just PSA's offering. One thing that the Yugos do differently that other AK manufacturers don't is they offer a little bit more reinforcement where all the fireworks is happening, and that's near the front trunnion. It's a bulged front trunnion that offers a little bit more longevity. I've never had any problems out of these. I've never had any problems with reliability, and I've shot a ton of rounds through this thing. Rivets are actually installed very nicely. They're pancaked on the inside where they should be, and you cannot slide a piece of paper up underneath these. So these are some of the telltale signs that an AK is made correctly. Moving forward is where things get a little bit more different. You're not going to see another AK out there like this one, because this is something that I've actually done here in my own personal shop. So I am running a Krebs handguard here. I've got an Ultimac that is an M18, and I've got a BCM, sort of a hand stop on here, also with an aim point. These H2 T2s are just unbeatable. You know, these things are battle tested, proven by some of the best in the industry. So that's the reason why I went with that. Got a mod light switch for my light. I've got a Haley Strategic Thorntail mount, 45-degree mount, along with I think this is a 200 or 300 lumens Surefire Scout. More changes on the front is that I'm actually running a converter. So I am converting from the traditional AK threads all the way to the 5.56 threads. And I'm on the front, I'm running an actual Surefire brake. Now, why a brake? The reason why is because I want to shoot this as flat as possible. Even though you're shooting 223 and you know, people say what you want, that they are actually a soft shooter, I still want this thing to shoot as flat as possible. And with this brake on here, I definitely noticed the difference between this and running a traditional brake or traditional muzzle device. Like I said, this is converted. Now, with this converter, now I understand some people with the PSA's 8-inch Krinkov, you have to have the booster on the front, which is the muzzle brake that comes with it, to be effective and have this thing, basically cycle reliably. I get that, and it's pretty much the downside of having the exit of the bullet so close to the gas port. As I said, this is a little bit longer. This is a 10-inch 5.56 barrel instead of a 8-inch, so you get a little bit more real estate on that for the bullet to travel through for accuracy. But inside of this converter, there is a sort of like an empty chamber, and from there, I actually get a little bit more gas pushback. So I don't really lose that reliability with the booster, because this actually did come with the booster as well. They recommend that almost on all short barrel Krinks that you have to have a booster. But like I said, this converter has an empty chamber on the inside, which is the reason why I chose it. So I could get some gas build up and some more gas blowback to make this thing run a little bit more reliable. So as I said, this is a Surefire brake. This is an actual suppressor adapter, so I can run any type of suppressor on here I want that is Surefire. This is their Warden, so this is not really a suppressor. This is more like a blast shield, and the reason why I have that with this is because brakes blow a lot of concussion out to the side. This makes it easier for people who I'm at the range with. So my 5.56 and my 300 SPS SOCOM from Surefire actually fits on this as well, and I've run a barrel rod by Surefire in this thing to make sure that everything is lined up so I don't have to worry about any baffle strikes. Lastly, I am running Tula. This is empty. I'm running Tula traditional Krinkov 5.45 magazines in this, so it gives it a really nice look. If you're just watching someone shoot this, it gives them the impression that, hey, you know, wow, like they're shooting a 5.45 Krinkov. It gives it a traditional Krinkov sort of feel to it, look and feel. So I really like that. So this is one of my favorite AKs if not the favorite AK. This is my truck gun. This is actually one I keep in my vehicle because it folds up. If something happens, something's going on, you can't go wrong with the reliability of an AK. I even would say that I've had more malfunctions out of the very well built AR-15s that I have that are from very reputable companies. I mean, I have nice armament. I have BCM, and all the rounds that I've shot through them. Very seldom will you see any type of malfunction. But hey, let's just be real. This is a mechanical device. Malfunctions eventually will happen, no matter how big or great they are. But with this, not a single malfunction I have had with steel case ammo. And I know that was a big thing with all the reviews out there. How well can PSA's Krink shoot steel? This one shoots it without any reliability issues. And lastly, I would say that this is a chrome line barrel. I know PSA's offering is not chrome line, but this one is chrome line. But that's all I have for you guys. You will see this more on the channel. This is one that I've wanted to do a review on for a long time. But like I said, I wanted to wait till PSA's Krinkov came out because perhaps I was going to buy one, but now I've decided not to. I think the Krinkov in a 5.4, 5.56, 223 is the ideal caliber, not the 5.45. I think that, especially in the US, I think that since 5.56 and 223 is so easily to get your hands on, that why go with 5.45? So that's the reason why I think that 5.56 PSA did get it right on that. I think it is the more ideal caliber for the Krinkov. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate you. Really appreciate all the support and all the subscriptions that I've gotten so far. My apologies for taking so long to bring you more firearm videos, but they are on the way. Take care, be safe. Catch you on the next one.